both setting up for a gank in mid, but they don't know that the other jungle is here.
Fresskowy's got no mana. Abscond of Duck. He might have to flash, but Electric won't let him out. Normal Daglas.
If you cannot go more,
Nice.
Alistair no.
No, flash it down.
Okay. I do
He's dead. Yeah, he's dead. Nice.
The setup from Hilly's beautiful. The knockdown from Vitality, perfect. And Vedius on Silas is unchained. Someone must put this guy back in prison because he's an outlaw on the run.
Hysterics. Hysterical. As always, I thought we were going to get more Carzzy voice comp spice, but maybe after. But do we have to send the second team to MSI? And or can we send everyone so they get their asses absolutely handed to them and bring back that lesson?
Are you not entertained?
I actually am. I'm very, very entertained. But like 1647,
I'm having a blast right now. This game is a complete banger. I don't know why you're complaining. We have
not really. I'm just like preemptively complaining about MSI.
We have top. We have
but you're right.
Fighting, yeah.
It was really entertaining. And to be fair, we talked so much about Rek'Sai Udyr and you were lamenting it before. We got TF Ahri this game.
Yeah.
So.
I don't have a lot of experience in the TF Ahri matchup. I would love to hear Myrwn's reasoning behind the Ahri into
Please break it down.
Yeah, I'll break it down for you. I assume what Ahri does is she goes Mercs against TF and she has a lot of setup for his jungle, and maybe if the jungle comes top, they can kill the TF. I don't know.
Makes sense. But I think
he was around top a lot.
He was around top a lot, yeah.
This makes sense though, like even if you don't know the matchup, that's probably what Photon felt like. And you know, I was thinking about maybe Myrwn was a little bit nerfed with the pre-recorded drafts, because this is a good example of something that if you pull it out, you then as Photon have what, 20, 30 seconds to figure it out, where you would have maybe like a half hour to look at it.
Yeah.
In another scenario.
Yeah, LEC hates my lines. That's how it is.
Don't put that out there, please.
But it worked perfectly, because normally Photon is so strong in lane and he pressures and he's a huge win con for Vitality, but this way they completely neutralized him.
They did. It didn't matter though. So what did matter? Experts.
Carzzy. Carzzy mattered. Holy shit. What a game by him, actually. That Baron, where like 3v5 them, his ult hit like 4 people and he chased them out slowly, spaced them super well. I have to give a lot of kudos to him. Like, I think he had a great game on Ezreal.
Perfect. We're going to take a look at a few replays. This is where, in a second, I believe, Broxah, Vitality is going to attempt to go for the Baron, or is this something else? I actually don't know.
No, you're completely correct.
I am
They're going to
correct.
chase down Fresskowy with a Twisted Fate ult, walk into river and fight, because Mad are going to invite this fight for some reason. They're going to go on Hylissang here, but he's going to turn it with the ult, and they're going to kill the Alistar. Then they're going to turn on the Nash, and instead of finishing the Nash with Nocturne ult, they're going to run him into the Nocturne and die. As we're going to see here. Here I think V2 can just take the Nocturne ult, turn the lights off, and then they all finish Nash while he's turning off the lights. But instead
his
he's running.
His ult wasn't cooldown, to be fair.
Oh, his ult was on cooldown.
Silas ult was
now he has it.
No, he has it there.
It just came up now.
Yeah. But here I think he used Nocturne ults and they finished Nash, but here...
But can't you defend the choice to turn?
I mean, I think it's fine if you turn, but then everyone has to turn. But Carzzy was really adamant about hitting that Baron, so...
I think the problem was that they really tunneled on the Silas ult, because initially when they started Baron it wasn't up, but you could see the moment he could actually pick it up, they instantly turned on him, and it was just a little bit too much, and it feels like most of these fights were just so messy, like there wasn't really much control going on, and the game just got completely crazy as a result.
Yeah, here they go for a play on top, try to kill Fresskowy, Myrwn TP's in, gets the aura resets, and they kill 2 people, and then they think, we can do Nash this time.
Let's try.
Surely, why not invite it? And here Carzzy is gonna put in a masterclass on his Ezreal.
But the worst part was that they were so far up while Carzzy was still in base, so by the moment he comes back, 2 people are already dead, and then they kind of have to go for the dream.
Yeah, he lands a nasty ult here, eats the Alistar combo, and then spaces perfectly, landing Mystic Shot after Mystic Shot.
Oh, there's an Alistar in this game?
There is an Alistar in the game.
Crazy.
They run him down here. Very messy fight overall, but very fun to watch. And I do think Vitality manages to kill 4 people here in the end and kind of get a gold lead in the end.
I love it. They killed the people they needed to at the right time, and they killed the base, hence they won. I mean, in the end, they actually did win pretty convincingly if you take a look at the last skirmish, but I'm not saying I didn't expect it, you know, and the person that we said would thrive in the chaos, Carzzy, did.
Yeah.
So my analysts are great, Broxah.
Well, clearly. I think, you know, the game had so much potential, and obviously it was great to watch, but it just feels like people weren't really on the same page on either side. like everything was so messy. There was usually someone who didn't have ult up or who wasn't even close to the fight, and then the rest engaged anyways. So I think generally just, you know, them actually getting on the same page and fighting as a unit. Whoever can do that in the next game is going to have a huge advantage.
Sorry, I was trying to point you to the fact that MDK chose red side if you wanted to talk about that.
No, I wanted to talk about Vitality, because what Vitality does is they drag you down in the mud, and if you don't fight them in the mud, they're gonna beat you. And I feel like Mad Lions get really lost in the Vitality game, because Vitality thrives in making the game chaotic like this. But then if you're not like ready to fight them here, either you're gonna have the discipline to like not allow them to drag you down in the mud, or you gotta be ready to fight them out in the mud.
Yeah.
Which I think Mad Lions did not the best this game.
I have to give credit to Guldborg here, because he's the one that was going to bring up this point. There was, of course, the coaching staff from former Mad Lions. We have Pod on the other side now, and others for Vitality, who is really, really used to his team playing that way generally. So maybe he can instill that in Vitality as well. Who knows? We're going to head into the draft for the second game. Mad Lions is up against it. They were the team that nobody would have guessed to get as far as they did back in winter, and we're starting to see if that can be activated again here. Do you come out of that game, Broxah, and think this was actually winnable as Mad Lions Koi?
Definitely. I think this is a very disappointing loss because both teams had so many chances to get that advantage and close it out. A lot of it came down to these really intense fights where Vitality just had the edge, but I like MDK just sticking to the, you know, same idea of going red side. They last picked Ahri. It worked out pretty well for the most part. So just continue giving that last pick to Myrwn and see if you can allow him to create an advantage.
I would really want to ban Twisted Fate here. I feel like Mad Lions has struggled against Twisted Fate now many series in a row. I remember them getting permanently caught out by the Twisted Fate, but it does appear they're going to leave it open. So I wonder if they're planning on taking it by themselves, 1-2 here.
Well, so far the draft is playing out very similar way to game one. The bans are the same, the first pick Rell is the same, Xayah has been locked in, but instead of taking the Azir, Matt now decides to secure the Rakan. I think this is a great adaptation from them. We've seen Analyst a couple of times today, and it's literally just a budget version of Rakan. It's the same idea, but you just cannot do the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like
Rakan
without the Talia you don't offer that much. If you have the Talia, you have the combo to like bounce off the Alistar combo, but without it there's not really follow-up. We have the Twisted Fate getting hammered here. I assume he's gonna get locked in, maybe alongside an Azir. Azir has been a power pick for many teams, but I'm not sure if Vitality has been making use of it that much. They could also look to just pick anything else here. Orianna seems to be their pick of choice. Mid lane over the Azir, it's fine.
Yep.
So I don't know how they're gonna respond there. It makes sense to, I mean, you can pick jungle or mid or top, because they showed all three. You have to match whichever one you want here. They believe in the Ahri, which I guess is a flex pick in a way.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
They could run it back.
In the purest way, actually. You can flex it.
Yeah, I would actually want them to have like a really strong skirmishing jungler to pair up with the Ahri. I think Nocturne is fine, but I would love like a Xinshao or a Vi or a Viego, so you can actually use the setup that Ahri brings more. Because I feel like the Nocturne is a bit slower and takes a lot more time to get activated, and can't really go into the dirt as well as
That's fair. We really need to look at the factor of can you fight in the mud or not.
The dirt factor is very crucial
exactly.
with the Vitality. You can't ignore it.
No.
Banning out Jinx and Kalista after the last game. Banning out Yasuo and I don't remember what they banned last game, but it's very similar bans 4-5.
There was an Ivan ban here.
There was an Ivan ban, which is reappearing. Great call out, Broxah.
Well, I do think the Ivan ban is kind of interesting. Again, Ahri can go top normally. If you put the Ahri mid lane, you're always going to want an AD jungler like you mentioned, the Sinsa, Lee, Viego, anything similar. Jarvan is a champion we saw having a lot of success in the first series, especially now that the AD carry pool has been thinned out a lot. It's difficult to find
he doesn't seem happy
a
about
good
it.
answer that's great against Jarvan.
He's like,
he doesn't look happy. It's probably one of those moments where he wants to lock in something a little spicier. Maybe for him it was a league ankle, but the coach says no.
No, this is our
really
chance.
Good against Twisted Fate and Orianna, though. You can't be mad at
It is a great Jarvan angle, for sure.
But I'm sure Broxah can be like, no, but I could have played Lee here.
Exactly. I get the idea. I think the response, though, from Vitality is very, very smart. Senna, Tahm are gonna just negate everything that Xayah can, as well as Jarvan wants to do. Like, every time that they run at you, whatever pressure comes towards bot lane early game, they're gonna be fine. And then it's going to be pretty easy for Daglas to make sure that his solo lanes are set up for success, really.
Very similar draft from game one. You can tell they kind of don't want to change too much. They were quite happy, both of the teams, with their draft. I do like the Jarvan adaptation. Picking Senna into Jarvan is very brave, I would say, because you're playing now 3 dashless carriers against the Jarvan. So every time this guy ults, he's going to get a lot of mileage out of that ability.
Exactly how Carzzy wants to play.
Yeah. But the logic is that he can only ult usually one guy.
Yeah.
So the other two people should be ready to carry afterwards.
Not gonna be.
There's a Tahm Kench as well, which does help a little bit. I think generally here, like, you know, the drafts are one thing. What I'm curious to see is how are they gonna adapt after the first game, because that game felt a little bit like a coin flip in a lot of ways with the crazy, you know, back and forth fights. So I'm just hoping that somebody is gonna come in with a bit more discipline, smart and controlled early game into a stable mid and late game snowball.
Oh, you're asking a lot.
Please.
This isn't you, Broxah. You're asking for a lot. But for Matt, I think it's a key word, the discipline and the focus going into this game. Because if you don't do it, then you're out of the Spring Split. There's no chance for you to go to MSI, and Vitality goes on instead. So let's see what happens and if we get similar chaos in Game 2.
Out of MSI, out of playoffs, and you have a very, very long break till we resume for summer. Vitality and Mad, it started off with a bang. And now let's see if Broxah gets his request. Can it be slowed down? Can Vitality get it across the finish line? I've got many questions here as myself and Vedius.
And
We'll run you through.
I'm going to disagree with the desk a little bit. Like,
Okay.
I mean, so my opinion on the quality of the game is like, we talked a little bit about it earlier, but I think the nature of the comps just meant that there would naturally be a lot of scrapping and skirmishing throughout the game. My biggest criticism was that, like, was the purpose of the scrapping and skirmishing, like, did it always make sense?
Yep.
Especially in the early game, we would often see like a lot of kills or summoners traded or things like this with no particular objective in mind, and then when the objective was spawned, you then wouldn't have these things, and then perhaps you would try and go for a fight anyway. So in terms of discipline, I just like them to be a little bit more objective focused, in that, like, if you're going to be committing these ultimates or you're going to be spending these resources, do it with the intent of playing for an objective specifically, rather than by happenstance, because of the results of the fight, you then can convert it into something.
And I think over the past couple of years, my brain has changed into what, you know, fighting is all about in League of Legends as well. A lot of the time people see it as, oh, well, we're fighting over an objective, right? In the LPL a lot of teams fight because they go, well, then we have advantage of topside jungle. We can then take camps away. That's like a 500 gold play. We get the vision, we get the ultis out, which, you know, Pad was talking to me about, where Hilly does a lot of that driving force of trying to seep away resources from the enemy team, trying to bait a lot of it away as well.
I mean, we see it a lot, especially when, like, setting up around Dragon, like, you'll go mid and then a support might flash onto the AD carry just to get the other AD carries flash,
and then they have no summoner for the Dragon,
Exactly,
so it leads into an objective, leads into a bigger play. I think it's an important discussion, because these teams already, as we start fighting on the bottom side, might be the same. Carzzy in trouble! Level 1, Carzzy heals away the flash match, and first blood to Supa! MDK start us off.
Self-proclaimed AD versus, I believe Finn said, the best AD. Making a bit of a statement here in Game 2.
Yeah.
Already finding first blood, well played to the MDK bot lane. Really nice knock-up from Alvaro. Connects onto Carzzy. He chooses not to flash it, which ultimately is a huge mistake, because the feathers fly, the ignite is effective. He holds onto the heal until the ignite dissipates. Then he commits the flash. But Supa's there to follow, secures first blood.
I mean, this is a different bottom lane again. We didn't get to talk about it, but Vitality's 2v2 has been like these Xayah Rakans, the Kaisers, the Yasuos, the Ezreal that has self-healing as well. In the Senna, you kind of rely on yourself getting through the laning phase in a very chill fashion. That when the Tahm Kench has 6, you've got the safety net, but also you can scale into the game. So I feel like the objective of the 2v2 from Vitality, the bottom side here, Vedius, has been shifted gear, and it's a really nice punish from MDK to make sure that that dynamic now finally working in their favor.
We look at mid, Elyoya and Alvaro hovering around, Vetheo hovering on the top side where his jungler is for safety.
One out of the book, it turns into a dive onto Fresskowy, the damage there, Daglas gets it, but they flash onto him, he gets out immediately. Alvaro burned his flash, Elyoya flagged and dragged, but Vitality with the pick in mid, unscathed.
I mean, it's very similar to what we saw in Game 1. Daglas just first to pull the trigger. We saw Elyoya and Alvaro making their way into the lane, and the second that they did, I thought that Vitality would choose to disengage, but Daglas commits to the play. They say, you know what, we can actually kill him before he gets an opportunity to move, and they make it happen. Elyoya, though, set his sights on the bot lane, no flash for Carzzy.
But he didn't use his flash in the mid lane, so Elyoya has everything. There's the engage once again, level 2, as they might not even need the jungler. Carzzy just going to die to Supa again. Tahm Kench jumps out. Hylissang will survive, but the second death in under 4 minutes for Carzzy. This is a horror fest for Vitality's 2v2.
I mean, great start for the MDK bot lane, that's
really
for sure. Once again, we see the Ahri in top lane as the answer into the Twisted Fate. I mean, it's a pretty effective one. Fair credit to Myrwn. I think that you have a lot of wave clear, especially once you get Malignance. You have a huge amount of setup with your jungler too.
True.
But ultimately, Daglas can't really find anything on the top side of the map. Ahri playing very safe in this long lane. All the advantages that MDK are able to gain are in the bot side, and ultimately just a really nice play from Elyoya. He doesn't make the mid play work, but because he knows that Daglas' path back towards top side, it's a very easy play towards bot. So Carzzy now in a very difficult situation, acting as the support right now, results in Supa having a bit of an inflated gold advantage because, of course, he's not farming any creeps, but it's not going to make this farmless Senna any easier in terms of catching up.
Curious to see Carzzy Senna score as Hilly jumped in. He gets punished, he flashes away. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, you know what to say.
Don't say it.
I don't need to. I think but that's a summoner gone, and I mean he does have TP in this lane and unsealed spellbook, by the way, so it's not the end of the world, but still for MDK, it continues to be the pump-up ceremony in the bottom side, doesn't it? Because Supa, with already 2 kills, as you said, gold is inflated, but this Xayah with Cull is going to be a monster very early in this game.
Yeah.
Supa's a great team fighter, so good luck.
So like there are certain AD carries that when they start 2-0, it's like, okay, sure, maybe you accelerate them a little bit. I feel like Xayah with 2-0 is just such a powerful AD carry. She spikes so hard on like 1 or 2 items that I definitely feel that she's kind of in the category of Lucian, you know, it's a champion you just don't want to afford to give those early kills to. Especially when paired up with the Rakan, you have so much synergy, so much playmaking. Daglas now finally makes his way towards bot. Let's see if he can convert an opportunity here.
His flash was burned before, but at least there's a root up on Alvaro, but it's a Rakan. Daglas sits in Tri-Brush, waiting for them to face check. A shattering strike, but nothing more. They turn it into a bit of an engage themselves, but for MDK sitting pretty here, while you can see Elyoya's moving down. Maybe for Dragon, after that play gets pushed down.
I think right now, the Dragon setup is much stronger for MDK. They have the push in mid for Fresskowy making his way down.
Carzzy engaged.
Oh, is that too deep?
Oh, actually it is, because the root comes down under turret. Alvaro in a bit of trouble, but the feathers fly back on in. Alvaro survives thanks to Elyoya being here, but you look, Fresskowy's moving down. For Vitality, they have to stop this dive.
No TP on Vetheo means that he can't show up to save the day, but Alvaro being as low as he is, they're not going to take the gamble. A lot of time invested there from Fresskowy means that Vetheo can maybe punish on some plates. Maybe this even unlocks the Dragon as an option, knowing that the MDK bot lane need to go back to base. MDK, tough to say if it's a bit of a blunder there. I guess you could argue it definitely was, and that Carzzy finds a route onto Alvaro while he's underneath the tower and he loses all his HP.
Yeah.
Means that the dive can't really follow through because it really is just a 3v3 at that point. Elyoya, though, still hovering around. I don't think he sees this, by the way.
I don't think he does, but he's going to go for a gank mid instead. I mean, Vetheo, how safe does he feel knowing his jungler's on Dragon? Still not overstepping, just needs that cannon minion. How many
That's
times?
the W, though.
Yeah. How many times have we died for a cannon minion? Everyone in the audience can sympathize. Vetheo not going to be one of them
Oh,
here.
now they're spotted.
They are indeed, but at 1400, it's getting dangerous. Elyoya with the flag dragon, but the still Vitality need the burst. Shattering strike with smite is enough. Yes, it is. But the knockback is denied. Daglas can't get out. He's got his flash available now, right? But doesn't want to burn it. And he won't. Fresskowy picks up the kill in the cost of the objective.
I think it's because he knew Elyoya could still follow, and they realized that they weren't strong enough to fight for it. So, Dragon for kill. Ultimately, not a bad trade for Vitality. They're not going to be too upset about that. The real problem is this bot side of the jungle is going to be ravaged by Elyoya, similar to what we saw in the previous game. He is no stranger to taking advantage of the enemy's jungle, and that's going to be a red buff secured for him. So, small advantage gained. More farm is going to be lost in this bot lane. Carzzy needs to get back, but he can only do it really with the support of his team. Knowing how healthy Elyoya is as well, there's always the risk that a dive could still happen, so Carzzy showing the utmost respect as Elyoya and Fresskowy continue to take what is not theirs, but they don't care.
I mean, dive made easier as well with Supa having himself the level 6. So, safety net acquired. Fresskowy with his own as well, and we're hitting that across the map as mid might get a little bit frisky, but Fresskowy gets out of the way. I realize that's a weird pun, Fresskowy.
I didn't even notice it. Why? How does your brain work?
I'm not sure sometimes it does, to be honest. People around me have been asking that question for years.
Vetheo, can he interrupt the base? Nope, doesn't look like it. Another route.
Might actually be followed up, but Hylissang bit to the right. Supa now setting up the feathers. It can be pulled in, but Carzzy Hilly not going to overstep. Nothing more follows suit. The wave is crashing in once again, and Hilly and Carzzy are playing it back a bit. But playing respect to Supa, of course.
We'll say Carzzy finds himself only at 28 stacks so far.
That is not
Relatively low for 10 minutes in. I think it was... I swear it was Reckless in the interview where he said, I think 100 stacks at...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hang on, knock up.
Oh, actually, Carzzy in a bit of trouble. He's got his summoners available. He gets heated up, though, as Supa still hasn't rooted back in for the time being. The spit out is there. Hilly takes the damage, and Carzzy survives. Without using any summoners is good, but MDK still beneficial on the trade once again.
It's the value of the Tahm Kench in this... Well, in this composition, and what it offers for the Senna provides that extra bit of safety, especially in the team fights when this Jarvan is going to be wanting to dive on top of you.
So what did Reckless say for stacks? 100 and what? 18
the problem
minutes?
is, I don't want to... Yeah, I want to say that it was 100 at... Is it 100 at 4? I don't remember, man. Because I remember him talking about it, and then I don't remember what the number is. So it's shameful of me, really.
No, that's all right. Look, we just pretend on a number. That's a full-in engage, though. Quickness with the root out. Carzzy with the ulti back, and Hilly gets the kill. Alvaro, that's the second time you've overstepped under the turret, and this time you've been punished harder.
I mean, I will say, Alvaro really has been forcing these fights in the bot lane, and you rightly called it a good punish from Vitality. Nice flash shield from Carzzy. Connects with the ultimate as well. Vitality get themselves a kill back in the bot lane 2v2.
And that's huge, especially since bot lane just felt like such a wormhole right now. Gold is back up as well, by the way. It's not like MDK have a massive gold lead.
How crazy is it, by the way? So in the previous matchup, Photon was struggling in this 1v1.
Yeah.
Now, look at how much more confident he is in the matchup.
Learning.
He's just, you give him one game and he's like, okay, download complete. Also, you don't have a Nocturne, so no diving today.
Easier.
It's
global. Got it.
Yeah, so he's built himself up a 500 gold lead.
He's crazy. I mean, you know, there's a reason this guy had the most MVPs on Vitality coming into playoffs as well. Like, from the regular season, he was sitting in the top 5. We've been talking up Photon, not just this split, but winter as well. Even coming into this year, Photon from last year was hyped up.
Last year, I mean, even though he was on a bottom team,
he was sick.
People rated him very highly. Alvaro in danger.
And there's a flash with the Magnus Storm. Alvaro going to get on out. And yeah, it's a hula hoop. Okay. Well, he wanted the plate. And you know, yeah. You know what? Agreed.
I'm going to need a replay. I'm going to need a replay.
Do you reckon Hilly said it's fine? You reckon Hilly went, he died to the turret, he said it's fine?
I'm going to need a replay.
Let's have a look.
Of that one.
Okay, what happened? For the plate, right? And it's a fast recall.
He doesn't get the plate!
Almost does. But it's a faster recall, Vedius.
I mean, that's the only logic. So basically,
have you not watched the battles?
He set up the wave in a way so that it's pushing towards them. Vetheo, nice flash. He's setting up the wave so that it pushes towards them. But in my head, I'm like, just press base. But he's saying, no, I can do you one better, Chief. I'll get the plate plus recall faster.
True.
But I didn't know what the death time was, because if it's anything greater than 8 seconds, it wasn't worth it.
Okay. Well, look, at least he's back now, and he didn't burn anything in that fun trade. Now, plate is close to going down for bottom side, so at least for Carzzy, might be able to cash into that a little bit easier because of the efforts. But for MDK, as they move around this dragon, trying to stop that flow. 16-second, thank you to our producers, 16-second recall.
If he'd gotten the plate, I would say there's a line where it could be worth.
I'd say
but because he didn't and he just died, he should have just pressed back.
Maybe he's just in their heads. Maybe it's just something about it. Let them know, you know?
I mean, you know, like, Hilly's the go-to supports. What can you say? I mean,
there you go. Let's see who's the go to the team fight, though. Elyoya with the engage. Oh, the Magnet Storm disengages Alvaro. Now, I think Vetheo is still dead indeed. As the quickness or the Spirit Rush rather from Myrwn brings it on in. Daglas now the new target, but eaten up. Save the day. Hilly brings it back as Vitality survive under their turret, but 5 members are here. 5 members need to make the play work. Myrwn says, okay, but I need a Spirit Rush reset. They're going to find themselves a turret, but how quickly can they take it down when Photon is doing the same thing topside?
I mean, Mad Lions Core, their whole focus this game has been playing around bot. The main objective is the Dragon. Being able to get additional plates as well means that it's a big value add for the team. They secured what plates they could before they fall off. Ultimately, winning play for MDK, especially if they can get their own Dragon.
I'm just wondering, because as plates go down now, that's a very squishy turret top, and it's gone.
Yeah, it certainly is. So Photon will get something back. He now finds himself at 1.8k gold lead over the Ahri.
So that's a concern, isn't it?
I mean, it certainly is. We look at this play. Remember that the flash was burnt earlier in mid. We talk about trying to burn those resources before the objective.
Yep.
Vetheo doesn't have ways of getting out. Hylissang tries to make his way up, but he realizes quite quickly, even if I get there, it's going to be too late. So he immediately chooses to disengage, instead chooses to use the ultimate onto Daglas to get him away to safety. Myrwn starts to feel himself a little bit, but he can't convert it into anything. Now, obviously, a lot was committed there. The tower wasn't taken down. It's likely going to be taken down soon. We have Fresskowy here. Hilly's not going to be enough to defend this, especially with Alvaro making his way towards the bot lane as well.
Supa coming mid though, actually might find a pick here. Spirit Rush as well. Just runs straight on in. Supa sends out the feathers. Vedius gets rooted up. The most aggressive AD carry play I've seen in a while from the LEC. As Myrwn now in trouble on the backside though. Destiny used from Photon finds the AD carry itself, and MDK forced that play, but Vitality used their global pressure again, and they fight back.
I'm surprised that MDK tried to force that as hard as they did. They didn't respect the ability of Vitality to collapse, and now it gives them an opportunity to siege onto this mid tower. Good damage, won't be able to secure the objective just yet. Turn my attention to the minimap once more and see Fresskowy making his way up to help with the wave clear. Doesn't have the TP available just yet.
So Vedi from that last play, while MDK again, I love the astuteness. Sorry, I haven't really talking in big words for talking.
No, please.
Let me try again. The astuteness?
Expand your vernacular.
Yeah.
Share with me.
Yes, tea and wine and cheese and all that. That was a big play from Mad until it came to a shutdown from Supa. Supa died to Photon off the back end. Now, you thought he was ahead before with the turret. 1.8k is what Vedius told you. He went back after that play, is now 2.3k, almost 2.4k up. Rapid fire cannon just picked up. So this Twisted Fate, who is level 11 by the way, same as Myrwn, but very accelerated, is going to be joining these plays and actually maybe just one-shotting these carries, or at least getting close to.
I just thought it was such a terrible anime reference that only very few select people are going to get.
You can go for it.
But you could say that Photon is atomic, which you're not going to get. But to those that know, they know.
It's not a science joke.
No, it's not a science joke,
Okay.
actually.
All right, well, it's just for it's just for the OGs in the back
It's
then.
just for super nerds.
Yeah, okay.
Is what I would say.
Hope you all enjoyed that one.
There's like 5 people that get that.
Well, I hope it was worth it, because if one of those 5 people doesn't like it, Vedius, that's a big swing and a miss. You limited your audience. See, I did Millhouse last week, dude. That's like a 50k throughout, you know?
True, yeah,
and as long as at least 10 people like it, I'm
Listen, man, I don't choose my audience. They choose me. Okay?
well, I knew the ego was bringing it today.
All right, Photon moving up towards the top side to catch that wave. Right now, MDK are using this window to move into the enemy bot side jungle, set up what vision they can, getting ready for the dragon, spawning in about 2 minutes' time. Ideally, they'd love to find a pick, maybe convert that into a mid tower, and they may have just found it. They have their eyes on Vetheo. Daglas.
Now Daglas, yeah, Flag and Dragon's there. Now Daglas ain't tanky enough. He went Knight's Power first. He re-engages though because Carzzy's nearby. Hilly as well has a knock-up. This is going to turn into an MDK overextension again, but with Destiny brought in, it depends on the convergence. Supa doing his damage onto Hilly while in the choke now. Elyoya goes back on in, so does Alvaro. Fresskowy flips him back and takes down Hilly, but look at Photon. He needs to be the carry here as the charm connects with the shockwave, gets him off him. He's healed up by the ball, but again, Myrwn is starting around the fight. Gets the shutdown, but has traded off, and we're just doing it again, aren't we? Vitality find a response. A double over to Vetheo, who just loves these skirmishes just because every game it seems like he's just the benefactor.
So let's just talk a little bit about the logic of this play.
There you go,
So the idea is MDK is setting up vision around the bot side of the map to look for a pick. The problem is that they run into Daglas and Hylissang, the 2 people that are probably the hardest to actually get a pick on, so they find that initiation. Now, this initiation to start off with is fine, but now they need to disengage, because at this point they think that they have the damage because Supa has arrived, but Carzzy's very safe on the backline. You've got Photon in a great position, good ultimate from Carzzy, and now they can't really lock down the damage threat. So while they're killing the front line, it's only now that Photon actually becomes a target. Good shockwave from Vetheo. Look at this gold card that comes out from Photon just before he dies. The burn ends up finishing him off. Supa's in an awkward position. And ultimately, it's kind of a story of this game where MDK tried to force into a kill, because if they'd found a one-team fight, maybe they can open up the mid tower. But I felt like that it was a bit of an overforce, and instead they lose the mid tower there.
And then it feels like we're just going to go back to basics of game one again, where like MDK are like, okay, we got to put our foot down because Dragon's now up. We just used a lot. Even
Supa just used Ghost, yeah.
So I wonder what that was for. Maybe almost caught out. Billy has his ulti back up and available. I'm looking at Vetheo Shockwave. There it is. Destiny not there. Dragon going to be started off, Vedius, and Vitality are coming second fiddle into the river, while MDK are trying to take positions out for a flank.
They're trying to close that gap. Good vision control from MDK, but Vitality feel confident. Their front line is very strong. The flank is being created by Alvaro.
Could be a big one.
And it definitely could be. Also, you see on the other side, behind the Dragon Pit, they're just stalling for the time being.
Here comes Myrwn. Which is going to be a big one, though. Myrwn comes in for the charm, finds himself Carzzy. There's the quickness as well, but eaten up, that was everything. Well, we get a three-man crash down from Daglas and a one-man ulti from Fresskowy. It's the re-engage that hurts so much. Mad want to make the miracle run like Winter, but Vitality have grown. They've achieved so much, and in their face, they continue to take them out.
Vitality played that fight incredibly well. I was a little concerned around the positioning of Hylissang, but he's able to reach Carzzy in time. He buys enough time for Daglas to get a great engage, and it ends up just being a cleanup for Vitality. They find 4 kills. They've started the Baron, but Elyoya is here. Now this could be risky. Hilly goes in.
He just does. He does, doesn't he? Okay, Alvaro's here for a knock-up, but instead they're looking towards the Baron. Alvaro trying to get there. Ward goes down, and at 4K, now trying to get
He is creating space.
Knock-up. He is, Vedius. He is indeed. Memes aside, Elyoya now. Oh my God! At 5 HP, he could have the steal, but Vetheo finds it. Man, flipping up a potential of a game 3 or a comeback could never have been riskier.
That was 5 HP. We all saw that. But let's look at this. The flank is a great idea. They get the engage onto Carzzy. The knockup doesn't quite connect from Alvaro. There's the consume. So much invested. And then that Daglas ultimate is so clutch. Connects onto 3. The root from Carzzy as well before he falls means that the AD carry gets locked up. I ended up missing where the shockwave went in the chaos of all of that fight. But the reality is that Carzzy, before his death, was able to do as much as he could. And the rest of Vitality are able to clean up 4-1 and 6 for Photon, putting his carry pants on in game 2. And as you rightly said, looking to change the story of Winter. MDK made that miracle lower bracket run, and Vitality have said not today.
And it was a great BO3 series from MDK in Winter. Throw your mind back. It was actually quite dominant. It was really significant to see MDK, again, continuing some of their regular split performance. And as Vedius just said, it was a miracle run. This time in spring, Vitality are the ones who are going to have to laugh because they've come through the same kind of script again, you know, losing to BDS, coming to the lower bracket, then facing off against MDK here. But they've learnt a lot. This roster's changed a lot. We've seen Carzzy step up to new heights. Here in this game, hasn't had the best start, but again, a lot of burden on his shoulders when MDK keep fighting fire and fires over again in the bottom lane.
And here's what I'll say. Vitality from this point need to show us the improved discipline from last week.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've had gold leads before, they've had Barons before, and they've still found ways to lose games.
They have indeed.
So that last Baron being an example of Hilly was doing about as much as he possibly could to keep Jarvan out of the pit, and Elyoya still found a way in, and that Baron went down to 5 HP. So Vitality got to be a little cautious about how they use this Baron. They're waiting for Photon off on a side lane, exactly what they need to do, set up a 4-1. And they're going to start sieging onto the base. Now, this Baron probably isn't enough to break open the base.
Elyoya just used Flag and Drag. Magnustorm going to be used as well. The Shockwave getting geared up as the Cataclysm is in, but Carzzy just knocks him down. What a pick from Daglas. What a prediction. And a good punish on the jungler of Mad Koi.
Nice use of the ultimate there. If you E early, the ultimate can drag you out of range if you then try to Q. He held onto it, tried to throw out the ulti, but he ends up losing his life. And I spoke about earlier, I didn't expect them to be able to knock down these tier 3s, but I stand corrected with the loss of Jarvan. They may even convert this into an inhibitor. Supa and Alvaro need to be careful. A collapse is very real.
I mean, Inhibitor's just got to drop down mid. As you said, Supa and Alvaro, as they step out here, there's the quickness going down for the engage. Photon is just dead. No save from Daglas and no Tahm Kench nearby. A mistake from Vitality as the teleports are coming in. And now the punish could continue. Alvaro getting the eat up here from Hilly as he saves Vedios life. But as he gets spat back out, Myrwn brings the Spirit Rush, gets the flash. The Shockwave, though, re-engage. Still fire in the bellies of Vitality as Mad Koi aren't able to get that much more, but are able to slow the pace.
MDK shut down the siege with a great pick onto Photon. They buy themselves more time to stall out this game, find a fight that can swing this game in their favor. Vitality, that could have been a very serious problem for them. You could see MDK regrouping, collapsing with the TP from Myrwn. But Hilly plays it out as well as he can. A really nice shockwave from Vetheo as well to create the opportunity for the rest of Vitality to escape.
I mean, Vetheo again, it's not the first time his Orianna has shown up in clinics. This game being set up for success from the skirmish in the bottom side jungle. Getting himself a Magi's, by the way. 10 stacks picked up. He picked that up only recently. And let's call it the 3-item Orianna. That is 1.7k gold ahead of Fresskowy. Vitality on the cusp here. Finding themselves in a BO5 with Fnatic for the first time this year. No playoffs run into Fnatic so far. So we don't know what that looks like in extended format.
We talk about Vitality. The last time we saw them in the top 4 was spring of last year.
Yep.
Obviously, they had a very disappointing summer, but
It's a good season for them, man.
the regroup overall has the evolution of this team throughout the years definitely been promising.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'd love to get a revenge against BDS. It was BDS that knocked them down both in winter and in spring.
Oh, yeah.
Last year in spring, it was BDS that knocked them down into the lower bracket. They don't have a good history with BDS.
No, they don't.
Obviously, if they do win today, they'd have to go through Fnatic, who's waiting for them on Monday.
And there's no guarantees there as well. Remember, if they lose that series too, no MSI. Right? Because BDS made top 3, it's hard for Vitality. Right now, we're singing their praises, but again, we want to see how they close out this game because Mad Koi are on the verge of being eliminated themselves from what was such a great winter run. They've got points, but not enough. So they have to win this series here to have a chance of representing on the world stage. It's a tough game, but again, it's going to be even tougher.
Now, of course, we are talking far into the future right now. Vitality still need to close out this game. 30 seconds until the Baron spawns, and this is going to be MDK's last opportunity. Obviously, the gold is heavily in favor of Vitality, and there are a lot of threats that MDK need to get through. Photon being one of the most dangerous. The ultimate question is, how do they play out this fight, and can they find it?
Video, angle there is good. As you said, the fight from Mad needs to be good. Find some kind of pick, but turret just goes down, using the pressure through the jungle here, as Baron is 5 seconds from spawning, and there's no dragon on the other side of the map that can be leveraged either.
MDK doing what they can to farm up. Supa, a person who was incredibly strong at the start of this game, hasn't been able to maintain that advantage. Alvaro taking one too many steps in the bot lane, giving opportunities for Carzzy and Hilly to bounce back. Some of these team fights, Hilly has been doing some serious work thanks to the Devour that he has on the Tahm Kench. We get closer to the Baron beginning. Vetheo.
That's a great pick. He's walked into his death maybe, but as he goes golden, Magnus Storm for the re-engage. Video flashes away. Now a Shockwave, but it's a whiff. In the backside, it's a massive whiff. Shockwave down, but the Plague disengaged everyone alive. But look at what was just burned as multiple angles from multiple sides tried to play out.
Flash gone from Elyoya.
Photon just ran into melee range. Photon ran in because he knew Hylissang was there maybe. As Alvaro gets on out, uses the range with Supa. He survives. But now the eat from Hylissang is also down.
Ultimate use from Myrwn. I love the aggression we're seeing from him looking for these picks, but the Tahm Kench making that pick potential so much harder.
A lot of trust in Hilly.
It certainly is, and he is performing right now. MDK doing what they can. They've staved off the Baron start. Hang on, Fresskowy, you got to be careful.
I mean, he's got flash available, might have to burn it. Shifting sands instead, luckily holds onto his summoner as mid wave is cleared out. Hilly went bot to do the same here with this wave, while Photon does top.
I mean, Hilly's got TP. He can join the fight whenever he wants. He's going to be a split pusher for now. Vetheo trying desperately to get level 16 himself, likely close to the Crypt Bloom.
Carzzy 100 stacks now, by the way.
Oh, yeah. 28 minutes. I would say a little low.
A little bit lower than we expect, but still, I mean,
he did have a
100
rough
stacks.
early game, so
Oh, yeah.
definitely only going to get stronger as we continue throughout this game. MDK going to clear out the vision as they've now been given an opportunity to do so. A few resets coming in from Vitality. Carzzy going to go spend gold himself.
Yep.
I mean, I know it's not like a big deal, but Hilly being level 13 just makes him that much harder to kill. You know, 2-2-7 scoreline. Obviously, the goal difference between the supports, like, doesn't really mean anything. But he's such a powerful frontline to pair up alongside Daglas that getting access onto this backline is that much harder, especially with the amount of peel that he provides.
True.
MDK have a lot of damage threats, but how consistently can they actually get this damage out? This Jarvan is very squishy with this build.
Oh, yeah.
So in terms of a straight up front to back, I feel like Vitality just have the advantage.
We're positioning for Baron. Objective bounty for Madkoi. If they get a steal on this, they can come back into the game.
Remember, Dragons in a minute's time, so Vitality have the opportunity to play the patient game, because you could actually just send Photon towards the Dragons to start that off and kind of divide MDK's attention.
For now, though, Vitality have to deal with this mid-wave. Elyoya threatens the engage, and Alvaro doing the same. He's got Flash up and available here on this Rakan. Photon sitting in Fog of War, but is warded, meaning they know that this gold card TF sits at level 16. When your life is on the line, when half your year is on the line, Madkoi are not overstepping, they're not making a mistake. Now that Dragon, as Vedius so rightly said, is 30 seconds away, I think Vitality have leveraged this quite nicely, where Mad are now wondering which direction they'll take.
Myrwn sitting in the Fog of War, looking for an opportunity to charm. Vitality control the mid wave. They're going to knock down this tower as quickly as they can. Push this wave in as deep as they can to make it harder for MDK to access the river. You look at bot lane as well, pushing in favor of Vitality.
Yep.
Photon, level 16, has the Destiny available. They're looking.
Oh, Shattering Struck is just out
Very
of range.
close. Alvaro just out of range of the rapid fire cannon there for Photon. 4 items finished for this Twisted Fate. The Dragon is being started by MDK. Vitality make a beeline towards the Baron.
Supa has 3 items, so it is actually going to go down pretty quickly. And as Baron starts, I mean, are Vitality going to be able to do the same kind of damage? Dragon gone in an instant. The stacking stopped. Teleport committing as well onto the flag. Vitality, though, baiting them in. And Alvaro took it. Hook, line, and sinker. Now Destiny on the back end. Photon looking to end the world as well. The gold card on this Xayah without cleanse as he flashes away. Supa is 1 hit away from its tournament life ending. And as Carzzy takes him down. Revenge in this game. Revenge for winter. I feel like it's being achieved.
Vitality herd MDK like cattle as they chase them through the jungle, pick them apart one by one. And with those death timers, they may even look to end the game. It is a little risky. Elyoya and Myrwn are still alive. The wave clear on this Ahri is nothing to scoff at.
Teleport, though. They're going to try. At the
They're
very
going to try.
least. They're going to try. They want this BO5 with Fnatic. They want to make the miracle run to MSI themselves. Cataclysm in, though. The setup, but it's denied. A shockwave from Vetheo. He says, nah, you ain't getting in the way this time. And finally, that Ahri shrugged to the side. Mad are going to be eliminated. It's no MSI for them, but Vitality are going to cut the repeat short and try and make their own story onto the big screen.
Vitality, much more disciplined than what we've seen from previous weeks. This game was a lot about punishing the over-aggression from MDK, a team that was constantly trying to look for skirmishes, look for fights. Vitality was poised, they were ready.
Yep.
And again, we look at certain individuals. Daglas has been performing throughout playoffs. Even in their losses, I feel like he's been crucial to the engages and the team fights when he gets his hands on a Rell. But we would be remiss not to talk about Photon, the man in the top lane, finding so many great picks, his utilization of Destiny. He keeps getting his hands on Twisted Fate, and you continue to see how terrifying he is on the champion.
It's on multiple champions, but you're right, like more importantly on that Twisted Fate, the early lead. He was up 4K in the end or something like that. It's insane, but you can have your own vote. What we're saying, vote for your key player of the series at LEC on X. Photon, Vetheo, or Carzzy. That's a hard choice. It is a really hard choice looking at that 2-0.
I do feel like Photon's probably going to edge out when we look across the entire series. Obviously, we saw Vetheo and Carzzy having great game ones where they really stood out on their respective carries. Whereas this time around, Vetheo whiffing a few shockwaves here and there. Carzzy struggling a little bit in the early game, but ultimately they were able to bounce back in the team fights and a solid performance. So excited to see what this Vitality can do. Reminder, Monday, they will be going up against Fnatic in a best of 5 to qualify for the top 3 and keep their MSI chances alive. It's going to be an exciting one with tomorrow, the rematch, once again, of G2 versus Vedius.
I mean, that we're all looking forward to, of course, as well. BO5, and that's where the fun starts. with the BO5s in our playoffs as well. I think more importantly, the fact that we are seeing a different story, because I think at the start of these playoffs, just to reflect, we were like, hang on a minute, it all looks like winter again. We got the same matchups in a lot of the cases as well. We got the Vitality BDS knockdown, where Vitality had to play through MDK again. I'm glad it has changed. I'm glad that we are getting a different story and another miracle run to call it, you know, early if it does progress past Fnatic. But again, it is a big task to ask, considering when Fnatic have, you know, a lot of experience on their roster as well.
I mean, it's going to be an exciting one. I feel like that we talked
yeah.
today about how Vitality versus Mad is going to be a scrappy fight. I imagine the same is going to be the case when it comes to Vitality versus Fnatic.
Well, that's it for us for today, but at the very least, we get to finish off with a nice interview with Vetheo and Daglas, so we'll hand it over the stage.
Thank you so much, guys. The dynamic mid-jungle duo from Vitality. Thank you guys for joining me. Congrats on winning this one. 2-0. Quite unusual when we think about Vitality's performance. Tell me about this series, Daglas.
Well, I think every new week for us is new strategies in scrims. And I think we just, like, new week, new preparation, and I think we came in with really good strategy today.
All right. Vetheo, you were laughing when I just said this, so anything you want to add on this and elaborate on the new strategy that Daglas was just mentioning now?
Yeah, I think like we tried the weeks before to win scrims and go on stage, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So this week we wanted to try like speedrun to lose every scrim, to go on stage, and then to have some free wins. So I think that's the strategy we went for this week, and it goes pretty well, I think.
So inting scrims leads to victory for you guys, that's what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, well, tell me about your progress. That's unusual, but why not? I mean, whatever works for you guys. I know that it has not been the easiest split for you, Daglas. I know that at the beginning of the season, I was talking to Mac, who was telling me we need to reinforce confidence in this player, because when he's confident, he's amazing. Can you tell me about this and the fact that you needed to work on what makes you confident on the Rift?
I think the confidence is like pressing buttons in game. I think I get champions that are engagers, right? So gaining confidence is just to play more forward for me in game.
Vetheo, you've been in this rookie, newer player situations a couple of years back. Now you have to help a newer jungler as well in the league. How do you rate his progress and success so far?
I mean, I think I'm pretty impressed because like I remember my first split. It was, I had like one good first week, and then it was like terrible for the whole first split. And I think Daglas had good game starting his first split, and now he's having like just good game permanently. And I think that's really, really good, like how fast he improved, and I think that's great.
I know that you as well have been progressing on something that we touched on privately last week, the fact that when you come into intense series, you need to keep your hypes up and you need to stay on the good side and have the good mindset for this. I know that last week, coming back from being 0-1 into winning the series is something that helped you a lot. Can you tell me about the way you managed to change your mindset during series to be clutch in these moments and not crumble down?
I mean, I'm in LEC for like, it's my fourth year now, and I didn't have that many success in playoff. I did in regular season. And I think I always wanted to change that, because for me regular season is just useless, obviously, if you lose at the end. And I think right now I worked way more on just try to be performing in playoffs and like try to not care as much about regular season and to peak in playoff. And that's what I did in winter. And right now I think I'm going good at playing consistently good during playoffs, so I'm really happy with the progress I'm making, and it's still I still have to win one best of 5 in LEC, and I hope it will be soon. The
most important one that you have won right before that will be against Fnatic, of course, who, by the way, predicted you guys to win 2-0 today against Mad Lion Scores. So yeah, I guess they were right here. What do you want to do next week against Fnatic? What do you want to prove against them, personally? What is going to be your goal going up against Razork?
We just want to continue what we've practiced. I think our game against Fnatic in regular split, I think we did good game against them. We just made mistakes that we worked on, so we'll come well prepared against Fnatic.
I hope you will. 2 days to get ready as the series is going to be on Monday. We have PGL ready. Do you have anything you want to tell Carzzy and Mac who are standing by Sjokz?
No.
No? Vetheo, anything you want to tell your teammates?
I mean, thank you, Carzzy, for making this game interesting.
All right.
Like level 1, like to give us some confidence and some stream reminders. And it was an easy win because of that. Thank you, Carzzy.
No message. Thank you, Carzzy. Thank you guys for the interview. Congrats on making it against Fnatic on Monday. And Sjokz, over to you.